Revolution Radio. Here we go. It is Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It is time for the Quantum Leap Show. Let light unite with our goddess spiritual warrior, Cathy Bilsky.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep. The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable.
All right. There, I can hear you.
Okay, are we on?
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Are we having spiritual electrical glitches tonight? We absolutely are. This time we're going to blame it on Skype. So, gosh, talk about psychic protection and get bumped off the air. I thought I was doing a show tonight that really wasn't going to be pushing any buttons, but guess not. Okay, so we were talking about how to protect yourself on an energy level. And, you know, before I share with you how to talk to the angels and work with crystals, I want to teach you a very simple method of protection. And all you do is simply visualize yourself in a bubble of radiant white light. That's it. And when you see yourself or call to your higher self to be surrounded in life, you just protected yourself in the divine light of God. Now, I also like to add the violet flame to that bubble of light that I put around me, because the violet flame is actually one of the highest energies that you can use. And what it does, it erases cause-effect record memory of karma. And it burns off negativity. It transmutes dark to light. So if there's any negativity coming at you, it's going to transmute it so you won't actually take it on. So now when do I actually, protect myself or put this bubble of light around me? Well, I do it when I wake up in the morning. Okay, after I get in my car and I just expand that bubble of light so it's also surrounding the car and protecting the car. Before I enter any public place, because you know how draining it can be when you go to any public place. You can walk in, when's the last time you walked into a grocery store? You walk in really happy and you come out feeling drained because people are unhappy, they're energy vampires, and you're also taking on that energy, and it's lowering your vibration to that lower level. So by strengthening the divine light of God in and around you, the negative energy, which, can be thoughts and feelings, can't affect you, for it's transmuted into love as it enters your aura that you now have. That's, really divine love. And then you've got the violet flame blended with it to transmute that darkness. And don't take this offense, guys, but, women, we absorb everything. We're the nurturing side of the male-female aspect out there. So, you guys hurt yourself, and that's anybody. And here we come around as women, and it's like, oh, you hurt yourself. Oh, let me just take it on for you. Suck it up, suck it up. And we do. But again, we're just taking on other people's energy all the time. And it's being conscious that you're doing this and of what is your energy and what is not your energy. And again, when you surround yourself in this bubble of protection of light, it's harder for that dark energy to get at you, to put you off balance, which can draw you down into that dark, negative, swampy, icky glue. So women, we're the receivers, and we just absorb energy to a greater degree than men can or do. And again, like I said, there are also many men who are sensitive, and the negative energy will pull their unusually positive selves into a negative state of mind, just like it can a woman. And really, have you ever been in a great mood, like I said, and went shopping, become irritable, depressed? Well, you are psychically receiving everyone's negative thoughts and energies, which brings you down to that unhappy state. So again, to stop this from happening, protect yourself in the divine light of God. See yourself in a bubble of white light and mentally call to your higher self for the light to be intensified and expanded around you. Now, there are also many other methods to protect yourself, and your own inner guidance will actually guide you if there will be something else for you to do. Just find a method and use it. So let's discuss now discernment between God's angels of light and what I call Satan's boys. And as there is positive energy, there is also a misuse of negative energy. So when I feel a presence of spirit around me, what I will do is I will command it to stand in the energy of the divine light of God or the energy of the Christ light. And if I still feel a presence, and I want to make sure this is a spirit from the Creator, I will call to Michael, the Archangel, and ask that this presence around me be removed from my aura if it is not from the divine. And then I'm going to ask this entity if they are from the divine God, and if I do not receive any chills. Some people out here in Hawaii call them chicken skins. Ew, I prefer to use chills. Well, if I don't get that chills as a yes answer, then I assume that this energy of a lower vibration, which I don't want around me, and I'm sure you don't either. So when the entity of a lower nature is around you, it can actually drag you down. You can feel irritable, angry, jealous, crabby, hateful, anything but happy and joyful. So these lower energy forms feed off of negative emotions. The more you react in a negative way, the more the spiral energy vampires will be able to feed from that energy you're sending out. Now, by asking God to change this entity's energy to a higher good, you release that energy from its trapped state on a lower astral plane to one of a more divine nature. And as this negative energy is released from the earth to the light, more divine light is on the earth, raising the earth's energy, of course, to a higher divine state. So you must realize that a lower vibration entity is one who may have experienced a sudden violent death, or someone who had such a hateful life that it does not recognize the light, choosing to stay in its trapped state on the lower astral planes on earth at the time of death. So they stay on the earth, attaching themselves to people who do negative things, causing these people to be even more negative and aggressive. And then you have people out there that are opening energy veils. So all kinds of dark entities come onto the earth to create chaos. So remember, spiritual entities working in the light of God would never make you negative and aggressive, have that kind of effect on you. Angels and your spiritual teachers and guides want you to be happy and express love, joy, and kindness to others. So remember, negative feeds negative, positive feeds positive. So stop and think, which side do you support and feed with your attitude? If you choose the negative, please catch yourself and don't let it go on. Start looking for the positive in the situations that you're now in. And it's really there, just look. And remember, as you stay happy, you're feeding the light of God with joy, raising the consciousness to a higher vibration. So after I've taken all my precautionary steps and I still feel this energy around me, after I've commanded them to stand in the energy of the Christ light, and I might blast them with the violet flame, because really no negative energy cannot handle, they can't handle the violet flame. They got to leave. It's just too high of a positive energy vibration. So after I've done all that and I feel really comfortable enough to begin to sit down and actually acknowledge and communicate with the angelic presence. But I can't express myself enough, but because you've got to protect yourself in the light of the divine at all times. Now, I also extend that light and the violet ray, the violet flame, to surround my family and friends every day. You know, that's practical application of light. All right, so how do you communicate with the angels? Okay, well, you got to realize that, you know, they've really been trying to communicate with you for a very long time, and you just might not have recognized the signals. So I'm going to share with you some basics so you can start to give attention to what is going on around you and to begin to discern your feelings from that of the angels. So the angels have many ways of communicating. And again, what I'm sharing with you is my learned truth, what I have actually experienced. Okay? So to me, the four basic avenues of communicating with the angelic realm are, of course, visual. And I don't mean with your eyes. I mean with your inner eye, your psychic eye. And then there's auditory, where you can hear them. And then you have the super sensitive, where you'd actually feel them physically through energy and vibration. Then you have the fourth way is through your smell. So now when I say visual, again, I mean your inner sight. You know, for those of you who can actually see, you know, pictures and faces when your eyes are closed. You know, the faces that you normally see, good possibility. They can be your teachers and guides and angels on that etheric plane. Or you could actually even be astral traveling in your mind's eye to anywhere on the planet. But for right now, let's just say that they're your angels. For those of you that actually want to open up your third eye, you want to really think about that one, okay? Because that's the gift of sight. So what I would do is I would do a little prayer and ask God to open that door, and also ask to be guided to whatever you need to open your third eye. So many of you might find yourself placing rocks and crystals over your third eye, or actually using a crystal wand to stimulate that area. So a crystal wand could be made out of a pure quartz crystal shaped like a wand. And it may have one pointed end at one side, and the other end would be round or blunt. And many find this shape a really great tool, of course, to use, massage work with also. Or you can have a crystal that's what's called double terminated wand, where both ends come to a point. And that means the energy flow is actually going out and can flow both ways simultaneously. Now, the material that makes up the wand can come in so many varieties of stones for you to choose from. Okay, that really doesn't make a difference. It's whatever you resonate with. Okay? So you can have wands made out of metals and stones, and sometimes the center will be metal with crystals inside, made out of copper. And really, the varieties are just endless. So, what I do is I put that wand with the crystal point toward my third eye and on the third eye, and then leave it there. And if you're very, very sensitive, you'll actually feel that energy go into the third eye. So now, when you do this for a couple minutes every day, you might actually start to see flashes of faces and scenery. And when that happens, ask to see one face only. Now, when it appears, then ask a name. Like, who are you? And the first name that comes into your mind will be that angelic teacher you just saw. But of course, again, ask them to stand in the energy of the Christ light, which is a very high vibration. And if they are your teachers in the light, they will stay. And if a spirit is of a low vibration, they have to leave. Now, another way of opening up your third eye or helping yourself remember lost information you have gained in past lives is putting the stone malachite on your third eye, which is in the middle of the forehead. And all you have to do is lay down and put a piece of malachite that has a ring in it, and they call it a bullseye, on your forehead. And then start to breathe just gently and deeply. And imagine yourself going into a malachite cave, and the deeper you breathe, the deeper into the cave you're going. Now you're going to feel, again, if you're sensitive, the malachite will send information into your brain which can feel like an electrical current flowing into your third eye, into your brain. And the more you do this, the more information the malachite will send. And it's like a computer overlay. Now, malachite holds all the Earth's records, and it will bring to the surface information you have forgotten and now need. For example, you may be studying healing medicinal herbs, or actually, psychic development of some kind. And, as you're going about the day, you're just going to have many ahas. And it's many thoughts of things that, you're just going to remember how to do it. Well, the malachite is bringing that up to your awareness, that information that's buried deep in your subconscious mind. I know. Can it get any easier? So then we have auditory. Well, now, not everyone is visual, and not everyone can develop their third eye. So the angels also will communicate through the auditory senses. Now, have you ever heard a note or a tune in your head? Now, each angel has a note of its own. And when this happens, I again ask the angel to stand in the light of the divine and then ask who it is. And the first name that comes to mind is that particular angel you heard. And whenever you hear that note, now you'll know it's that angel announcing that she is around. And your inner hearing may be developed where you actually will hear voices in your head. And remember, if it's from the divine, God will want it to be clear, and messages will be easily understood. So if you find yourself becoming confused, it's not from the light of the divine, but from darkness and a lower spiritual entity. And again, protection is very important. I command all voices to stand in the light of the divine. I ask God to intensify my own divine light from within to without. I also command these entities to go toward the divine light of God and leave my aura now. And if there are still confusing messages, I call to Michael the Archangel, asking him to take his sword of blue flame and cut all the ties these entities to have to you. And imagine them being tied and bound. We send them through the violet flame to clean up their energies and escorted back to God by Michael and his band of angels. Now, I always fill that space up with an angel of your choice, of hearing, of healing, of love, compassion, humor, or an angel that has all of those beautiful qualities. The confusion will leave and you will hear clear guidance from the angels. So again, when you hear a voice, ask for a name and what the angel wants to be known by. Now let's talk about the super sensitive. So whenever you're super sensitive, you're actually going to feel things. So have you ever gotten chills, goosebumps, hair standing on end, that sinking feeling in the bottom of your stomach, a pressure on the back of the neck when nobody is around? Have you ever gotten a nose tickle that you can't explain, or an itchy nose? Well, if you have, this is just another way the angels do communicate with us. So have you ever been talking with someone and when they said something, you got chills, goosebumps, or electric waves going through your body? Well, what is actually happening is that the angels are confirming to you whatever that person is saying is true, and they want you to pay special attention. They're confirming that that person is speaking truth. And whenever I do a reading and I get a thought and I get chills, I know that thought is on and I'm speaking, truth. So now your joy guide angels may tickle the end of your nose with an invisible feather to get you to smile and be happier. Have you ever just had that itchy nose where it just wouldn't go away? Well, that's your little joy guides, okay? And they got that little feather and they are tickling your nose. You are too serious. They want you to lighten up. And if you don't get that, they will tickle the bottom of your feet. And oh my God, that drives me nuts, okay? So again, what we're talking about is just some ways that the angels will communicate with us through that touch. Now, when something is not going to go my way, I feel a pressure, like someone is putting a firm hand on my shoulder as a warning signal. And then, I got to play 20 questions. Like when I was driving from the store back home, that's where I do the radio show, I kept getting this heavy hand on my shoulder. And it's like, oh, man, what are we talking about? Something is not going to go right. Now, for those of you old enough, have you ever heard of Helen Keller? Well, she was this remarkable woman that was deaf and was blind. And, she couldn't hear, couldn't see. She was not born that way. And she learned to communicate through Braille, and she became very, very famous. Well, sometimes I feel like her when I'm communicating with the angels because I can't see them. I can't hear them, so I have to feel them. And when they get that pressure on my shoulder, it's like, now I got to play 20 questions. What are we talking about? And so they told me that I might have problems with the radio show tonight going off air. And of course I went, maybe not. And by golly, it did go off. So instead of me getting really, really angry over it, all I go is like, wow, I got it. Helen Keller got it. You're just warning me. And, when I get the warning ahead of time, I don't get upset like I normally do. But on the other hand, if it was done through someone screwing up with the Skype, oh dear, guys, I really feel sorry for you. Karma will be a bitch. And I'm sure it's hitting you back as we speak. You must be a newbie, okay? Anyway, so that is, again, the nose tickle. Now, when I get a really warm hand on my back pushing me forward, I know I'm going the right way. I'm doing the right thing. I'm going the right direction in my life at that moment. So now, have you ever been in your house or in a car or someplace where it's been warm and then all of a sudden get very, very cold? Like there's been this big drop in temperature. Well, to me, what that means is that there's been a dark astral entity that has come into my field, like an energy vampire or a reptilian vampire. And when they come in and you feel that cold, not only are they spying on you, but they're sucking your life force, your warmth. They're taking your energy, which doesn't work for me very well. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like it. So what I do when I feel that, I simply call to Michael the Archangel to cut the ties to whatever the entity has attached to, especially me. I tie and bind it. I send it through the violet flame to clean its energy up. I imagine it going back to God. And then I fill that space up with an angel of love. And the room immediately gets warmer. So you know they're gone. Now, when this was first brought into my awareness, and also at one time in my life when darkness was around me, they would just kind of poke my right shoulder just to let me know they were around. And, I don't want anybody poking me all day. Give me a break. So what I would do is I would call Michael the Archangel, cut the ties, tie and bind it, send it through the violet flame back to God, fill that space up with an angel of light. Things got better. And I'm thinking, all right, you're gone. And then it would come back. And it's like, what the heck? And then another brilliant woman friend of mine said, duh, don't you realize that these entities want to come to you because they know you can release them into the light? And I went, oh, duh. Which made a lot of sense. So then I didn't get quite angry when I felt their dark energy, but I learned to release them very, very quickly. So they can't attach themselves to me. They can't lower my energy. And, I'm doing service work now. All right. I'm releasing that energy and allowing an angel of light to come on the planet. So have you ever felt a very soft hand on your face? Well, when I feel it, to me it means one of the goddesses are around, that divine feminine energy. And then I simply ask who it is, and then, I communicate that way, command them to stand in the energy of the Christ light to make sure they're of light. But when you know they are, oh my gosh, that hand just feels so velvety and soft and warm, like a real hand on your face. But it's like if your mother would touch you very gently, or someone who loves you very, very much. So let's talk about going on to one of the other modalities the angels have. And of course, you have the sense of smell. Now, the sense of smell is something that the majorities of us don't have and don't use. And actually, with all the chemicals around, you can see why sometimes so many of us do no longer have that sense of smell. So a lot of times the angelic realm and the divine masters, gods and goddesses, will use a fragrant scent to announce their presence. So the next time you're in a room by yourself and you begin to whiff frankincense or myrrh or rose or something spicy, you've got an angelic teacher that might be in your midst, or perhaps an ascended master. So don't be so overwhelmed that you command them to stand in the energy of the Christ light to make sure they are of light. Blast them with that violet ray. And when they're still hanging, just enjoy that smell that they're giving to you. Just breathe deeply and relax. So let's have a little bit of fun, okay? So you've learned some basic communication with the angelic realm. So let's try and communicate with these beings. And yeah, I know they're ready to communicate with you. We'll see how much time we have. So what I want everyone to do is to sit down, okay, and get really quiet. And I want you to picture yourself in a bubble of divine light. So now I want you to invite your guardian angel to stand behind you and communicate with you. So for those of you that are auditory, you might hear a note, a tune, or a voice. And those who are super sensitive may feel goosebumps or chills. And, others might smell a fragrance. And you just might feel really warm and fuzzy. So I want you to ask your guardian angel now what their name is. And the first name that comes to your mind is your angel's name. And ask her or him, your angel, if they have a special way they want to communicate with you. And then get very quiet and pay attention to your body. You might feel a pressure on your arm or your shoulder. Again, be very open-minded. Allow and trust in your own senses. Now, the angels really want to work closer with people on Earth, but according to universal law, they're limited to what they can do. Now, universal law is truth, and God's rules apply to everyone on Earth and to other beings existing on other worlds, universes, and planes. One of the better-known universal law, of course, is the law of karma. What goes around comes around. You get back what you put out. Another law is the law of attraction. You draw to you that which you are. Are you happy with the people you surround yourself with? Happy draws happy. Negative draws negative. If you want to change your attitude. The more positive you are, the more positive people and situations will come your way. So another universal law that applies to the angelic kingdom is that angels cannot interfere with mankind unless mankind invites, asks for, prays for their assistance. And the more we ask the angels for help, the more help they can give. So I'm going to give you a few suggestions now that you can start communicating and ask for help with the angels. Help them release hostages. Ask them to give your children and your family and yourself extra protection. Keep them out of trouble and harm's way. You can ask them to find you some choice parking spots, okay? Oh, heck yes, I've done this. When I lived in LA and I was going downtown and parking was a pain in the rear, I would ask the angels to set me up with a sweet parking spot right in front of the building, and I would ask for money in the meter. On that note, we've already made it through the first hour, and we'll be back shortly. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap, the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show, and this is, again, July 14th, 2015. This is Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips. Now, this is a listener-sponsored radio station, and nobody gets paid for doing this. This is all volunteer. And it's because of awesome listeners like you that we're still open. And we really appreciate all the donations that you send in. And you can also go to Revolution Radio's donation button, and it's really easy, or they've got some really cool products you can buy also, and that helps us stay on the air. And you know what they say, what goes around comes around. So because we've been having so many crazy glitches with the first hour, we kind of didn't get a chance. I wanted to finish talking about communicating and working with the angelic realm. And also practical application on how you can actually work with the angels, not just saying that they're there, but working with them. Okay? So we talk about, asking them for extra protection around your kids, for actually getting you choice parking spots with money in the meter. If you don't ask, you don't get, okay? Now, the one I like to do with the angels is if you see anybody fighting. Now, I don't see that here in Hawaii as much as I did when I was in California. But instead of, wanting to get involved, like many of you incredible, courageous guys would, and as much as I would like to break up the fight, but I'm not that stupid, I'll call to Michael the Archangel and I'll say, look, break up the fight, break it up now. And of course, I'm doing this in my mind. I'll shout it in my mind. Michael, break this fight up now and in a way where no one will be hurt or harmed. And then you just kind of pay attention and you watch. And if it's not happening quick enough for me, I'll go, Michael, I want you to break this fight up now and scream now. Because then he really knows I'm serious. And the next thing you know, the guys are backing off. And then they're just going each separate ways. And, that's like, yay, that works. It's so cool when you see that happen. Now, if you find yourself actually seeing more people fighting all of a sudden, it's because I just taught you a technique on how to do service on the planet and break the fights up without getting in harm's way and without anyone getting hurt or harmed. So you might be used, you might be worked, so to speak. So don't take it personal. You're doing service work now. You have the knowledge, and God may ask you to apply it. So I also ask the angels for inspiration, for guidance. I'll get a confirmation of choices. And I'll know when I get the chills. That's a confirmation from the angels. And really, you can use them for anything. You just got to ask. They're like your buddies. And again, you don't ask, you don't get. And the angels are limited to what they can do on the earth until you give them permission. So if you walk by the TV and you see that there's been a natural disaster or there's a war going on, command the angels to go there and work with those people that need healing, that need comfort. And then let it go. Don't think about it. Now, if you find yourself driving by an accident, ask the angels to go there and give those people whatever healing and whatever help they need. And then just take it one step further and blast energy out to that ambulance and all those people that are working and the people that got hurt. Because you never know that your little bit of energy may have saved a life and helped that person stay in body. And when you do the work, you're not supposed to focus. Now, you do the work, you let it go, and go about your way. And just know that it's done. But I always, always ask that it always ends up in the most positive, highest good in the light of the divine that can happen. And that if they're going to get involved in a way where no one will be hurt or harmed. So now you're actually forming a wonderful partnership with the angels. And it's what I call teamwork. So, it's what we're here for. We're here to work with the angels. We're here to work with the elemental kingdom. All right, so that's all I'm going to do for that segment, and we're going to work on practical application of divine love and other things another week. Because what I really want to do now is actually do an energy balancing and a curse removal for everybody that's listening, because this is your spiritual tune-up time. This is for the time for you to release and let everything go, clear your path, and reconnect with the Creator. So for everybody that's going to participate in the energy balancing and curse removal, I want you to sit down, put your feet flat on the floor, put your hands in the lap, palms up like you're going to receive. And then just start taking some gentle deep breaths, but not so you hyperventilate on me, okay? All right, now as you're breathing deeply, I want you to breathe in light and exhale out everything that no longer serves you. And imagine that energy going through the violet flame back to God, and you start filling up with your divine essence. So you inhale light and exhale out everything that no longer serves you. And while you're doing that, I call to Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all ties to any energy you've taken on that's not yours. Whether it comes from friends, relatives, acquaintances, strangers, animals, and as that energy is released, as you exhale, it also goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. So I also surround each and every one of you in a bubble of golden flame. I add to that the blue flame of protection, the violet flame of transmutation, the green flame of healing, and I seal you in the pink flame of love. So take one more deep breath and exhale out everything that's left in your body that no longer serves you, and it's going through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. So I want you to imagine this incredible healing energy coming down from the Creator, coming into the top of your head, your crown chakra, and let it just flow through your brain. And it flows through your brain. Every cell, atom, molecule in that brain is reconnected to the Creator. You're filled with new possibilities. Answers come to you easily. You see clearer. You're calmer. And now allow that energy to flow out the middle of your forehead, your third eye. And feel that energy now flow down even farther. So it's going to come out of your throat chakra. And feel the energy flow even farther now. And allow it to come out of your heart chakra. And let's feel that energy come down one more time and flow out of the heart chakra. Okay, better. And allow that energy to come out of your solar plexus. And feel the energy now flow even farther down your body. And it's going to flow out of your belly button chakra. And now your sacral chakra. And now feel the energy flow even farther, so it's flowing out of your root chakra. Now allow that divine energy to flow all the way down your legs. Let it go out your feet and send it into the earth. Imagine it flowing down your arms and out your hands, and let it flow down your spine. So I want you to take one more gentle deep breath, and this time as you exhale, imagine everything left in your body again that no longer serves you, just gently being released through your breath as you exhale. And then breathe normal. So as you're doing that, I call to Michael the Archangel to come forth and again cut all ties to any energy you've taken on that's not yours, whether it's from a friend, relative, acquaintance, stranger, anybody you work with, TV set, animal, whatever the karmic reason is, it created anything out of balance in your life or your body today, and it's all that unwanted energies peeled off of you, gently like an onion skin. It all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. Now I call to Michael to come forth, cut all ties to reptile, dinosaur energy, secret societies, organized religion. Cut all ties to any oaths, vows, curses, hexes, rituals that could have been done to you or your family going backwards and forwards, hundreds of thousands of generations, or anything you could have done consciously or unconsciously. And as all that unwanted energy too is peeled off of you, gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God. And you fill up with more of your divine essence. So now I want Michael to come forth and cut all ties to any effigies that have been misused against you. And that's any elemental of yours that was used to hurt you or anyone, including anything you own, clothes, hair, picture, your name spoken, written, just thought of, or anything you have your energy on. And as ties to all those elementals are cut, I call the violet flame through them to clean them up, the angel light energy to heal. We fill them up with love, and I command them to be neutral or only emit love. And now I want Michael to come forth, remove any energy implants that could have been done to you or anything that could have carried over from any other lifetime because of dark magic, voodoo, dark witchcraft, or even dark magic or dark thoughts. So I want the stick, pin, needle, or knife that's in your crown chakra removed from your third eye, your throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, root, feet, hands, spine, your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hips, teeth, anywhere in your body that's out of balance. And as you feel all those pins, needles, and knives being very gently removed, imagine all those spaces immediately fill up with the violet flame to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We release all that unwanted energy back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to patriarchy, genocide, rape, incest, slavery, prostitution, persecution, circumcision, removing any energy overlay that's trying to manipulate you, keeping you from moving forward, connecting with God, healing yourself, being really successful, fulfilling all your divine missions, and living your life in joy. And as all that unwanted energy is gently released from you, peeled off of you like an onion skin, it's keeping all these wonderful things from coming to you. We send it all through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. So if there's anybody out there that's directing any kind of dark energy at you, whether it's done through ritual, witchcraft, voodoo, dark magic, or even dark thoughts, we're going to ask them to step forward in the light of God and stop doing it. Because if they're doing it to you, they are doing it to others. We ask them to step forward in the light of the Creator, and if they choose not to, which is their free will, we ask their higher self and their guardian angels to put them in a position of total and complete harmlessness now. We surround them in a bubble of mirror. The mirror faces them 2 inches from their nose, and as long as they do any dark work, that energy stays contained in the bubble of mirror, but I put the violet flame in that bubble of mirror to transmute any of their dark energy so they have no forward movement. Now, this bubble of mirror stays up 24/7, 365 days a year until they do works of good. So now I call to your higher self, and I'm going to ask your higher self now to activate your divine blueprint for perfect health. The one you created before you incarnated on earth. That perfect blueprint for perfect health. And I'm going to ask this starts manifesting in your body now. And again, allow this energy to integrate in a very gentle, kind, loving way with your cells, your atoms, your molecules, all your internal organs, going all the way down into your DNA. So what we're going to do now that I've got you in this very, very high space, I'm going to ask that you imagine this big bubble of light. We're going to create a circle. And we're going to put a bubble of light in the center. And under this bubble of light, I want you to imagine a 20,000-pound Earth Keeper crystal amplifying our works. And what I want to put in this bubble of light is the power prayer I wrote to quantum leap the world into the golden age, divine infinity and beyond. And this is to help us remember what we are creating every day and to help us really manifest it quicker. So in your mind's eye, while I'm reading this prayer, I want you to try to visualize this, okay? All right, so let there be light in the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command. Let's call to the divine creator and ask for permission to quantum leap the world in all life forms, on all planes, seen and unseen, connected with planet Earth, to let us go beyond our potential into the greatest golden age the world and all planets have ever experienced. Let us take the best of all lifetimes, all golden ages, all worlds, galaxies, and create such a divine and enlightened planet that is even beyond the Creator's imagination. Imagine the Creator laughing with joyful glee on this action we have put into motion with every breath we now breathe, and is snowballing, quantum leaping forward every day. Every time someone reads this prayer, see the energy amplifying 100,000-fold, creating a higher resonance with the Creator. See the energy of heaven surrounding Earth like a golden, shimmering rainbow of colors. See this energy anchoring now to the planet, all life forms, elemental kingdom, angels, from the lowest of consciousness life forms, any trapped and stuck entities, any aliens from other worlds, the reptilian king and queen, all their seed, including all hybrids, anyone practicing any kind of black magic, voodoo, and witchcraft, all the way up to the most enlightened beings on the planet. None excluded, all included. As this energy settles in, see everyone's integration be gentle, loving, and kind, going into everyone's DNA, soul, memory, and dreams. As all life forms dream, let them dream of all the times they lived in the golden age where there was plenty of everything. Everyone was using their spiritual, psychic abilities. No one lacked for anything. Functional families where men and women live side by side in divine harmony. Lots of laughter with everyone practicing compassion, kindness, joy, and love in action. See these dreams being brought into physical form. Anyone who chooses not to go forward into the golden age and tries to stop this prayer from forward movement, I ask their higher self and guardian angel to step in and put them in positions of harmlessness. We ask the Creator to give them special grace and unlock the doors in their minds that are keeping them from connecting to the higher frequency of light. Release that which is holding them back. I ask the Creator to close down the reptilian part of the brain and open up the divine God brain, filling them with whatever high vibration is needed to shift them so everyone gets to go into the golden age, leaving no one behind. Send these beings and entities whatever vibration, sound, color, and memories of being connected to the Creator they need so they gently evolve into the light. The Creator, their higher selves, and angels know exactly what each one needs and are sending it to them as we speak. See us propelling ourselves far into the golden age, way beyond the Creator's wildest dreams of the planet being in the divine golden age. Angels, humans, and elementals and extraterrestrials working together, all veils removed so everyone's psychic potential is being developed and put into practical practice. Families putting love into action and becoming divinely functional, having everything they need when they need it. The elderly are honored for their wisdom, people becoming awakened spiritual beings, practicing religious tolerance and the positive aspects of their religion. See us working as one with beings from other galaxies and planets that are just delighted We're quantum growing into enlightened beings and giving us the new tools and ideas and technologies on how we can make this a more joyful, functional, enlightened planet, taking us all beyond our divine potential. The earth is treated with much respect. The old ancient cultures responsible for the care of the planet, sharing their secrets and beliefs as everyone listens with open minds and hungers for their knowledge. All sacred knowledge of all natural healing methods are put into practice, including all tools made out of stones, light, sound, energy, and vibration. Everyone is being taught the sacred teachings and truths. All knowledge flows freely. Gifts in music, the arts, sports, and intuitive are encouraged and allowed to be developed. Statesmen and elected officials tell the truth, acting for the benefit of humanity. And instead of elected officials, we have the wise elders now take over that job of each community. So now the earth is a healed being at one with all life forms on her. Everyone so tuned to the Mother Earth that they can hear her sing her sighs, where she needs extra light, becoming aware of every move and groove she needs to do, allowing her to do so and move out of her way with grace and understanding like the fire goddess Pele does in Hawaii when she needs to flow. The interaction with the earth and all life forms is gentle, loving, kind, and conscious. Organic food abounds, chemical-free, clean, pristine water, earth and sky. The sun and wind are harnessed in true solar fashion. Tesla's ideas and inventions of free energy being created, with all walks of life benefiting. People living in joy for hundreds of years if they choose. When it's time to make transition, it's done with much joy and understanding of light evolution. Everyone, all life forms going beyond their highest divine potential. We ask the Creator to fill in whatever we have left out to take manifesting, quantum leaping the world into the golden age far beyond our dreams and imaginations, into the Creator's thoughts, wishes, and dreams. We ask that all who are manifesting the quantum leap be given all they need on all levels, complete protection, and be put under bubbles of invisibility so they're hidden from the dark side. As this divine idea flows outward, see all walks of life coming together in harmony and of one accord, each person and group remembering their divine missions and what their parts are in quantum leaping the world into the golden age, putting it into action now. Let all the divine sleepers awaken to their divine missions and their divine purposes now. And as always, we put this in your hands, our divine Creator. Propel us into what your concept of the golden age is. Inspire us, guide us into doing not our will, but thy will be done. So be it. So we're going to fill this bubble of light up with more light and love. And we're going to take a deep breath. And as we exhale, we're going to release it into the universe to manifest. All right, so let's imagine another bubble of light forming into the center. Service work tonight. We're into our service circle. So let's work on setting all those elementals of war free, especially all that are in the Department of Defense manual. And we're just going to ask Spirit, just put them all in this bubble of light. So let there be light in the name of the presence of God, which I am. Through the magnetic power, the sacred fire vested in me, I command. I call to Michael the Archangel to cut all ties to any black magicians, secret societies, ETs, Borman Group, Jesuits, the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, governments, military, special ops, special forces, all military contractors, police, all gangs and scientists that are trying to misuse these elementals by turning them into weapons to use against humans and the earth. As we cut the ties, we call forth the violet flame to clean the elemental up, angel light energy to heal them. Now we see them all reconnected to the Creator. We command that all elementals of war, such as guns, ammo, explosives, knives, bombs, landmines, trigger mechanisms, planes, drones, rockets, weapons, computer gases, germs, satellites, electrical towers, microwave towers, biogenetics, sound waves, and voodoo effigies, all weapons listed in the Department of Defense manual, including all elementals that are or will be used to manipulate into doing wrong. Like voodoo effigies, dolls, pictures, any personal item used with misintent, or any elementals that are being asked or heard to destroy any life, human or elemental, on any level, be commanded through the sacred triangle of humans, angels, and elementals to misfire, disintegrate, choose to malfunction, go off course toward inert objects, or generally be harmless and take the path of love. We command all these weapons of war to no longer work in harmony. May all equipment of war become infested with rats, bugs, termites, mice, snakes, killer bees, centipedes, spiders, mold and mildew. We place lots of very, very strong magnets on all the computers and hard drives being used for war. And let all those who try to use the weapons become dyslexic and confused, so all weapons they touch don't function. They miss their targets or turn them on themselves, putting themselves out of commission. All right, let's fill that up with light and love and take a deep breath and release it. So feel that high energy come pouring down into your body, and let's create another bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, I want you to put in all those people that are in your life that need to be healed, that are having health crisis issues. So as we put them in the bubble, we're going to imagine them sitting on tables of angel light or laying on tables of angel light. And we're going to call the Michael the Archangel to cut the ties with whatever is causing any kind of out of balance and discomfort, dis-ease in their body. And as that energy is cut, we call the violet flame to blaze through every cell, atom, molecule in that area, to transmute any out of balance energy. And we ask that that space now reconnect with the Creator. We're going to surround them in a bubble of energy. We're going to ask that angel light now to help pull out any place that they're in trauma. And with their permission, we're also going to ask that they reconnect to the Creator. And they become an awakened spiritual being. We're going to ask their spirit guides and the angels and their teachers to send them the healing modalities that they need to use so they heal, and that they're open to them. So I want to make sure you put yourself in that bubble. And I want you to feel the healing energy now flow through your body. Anywhere it's out of balance, we're going to send the violet flame into that area and just send so much energy that space. It's going to raise the energy. And just imagine all that stuck, unwanted energy that no longer serves you just being gently released. Now put in this bubble of light also people that you're having challenges with, that you don't get along with, that you're fighting with. And we're going to ask those veils and that energy be removed, be transmuted by the violet flame, and replaced with love and kindness and compassion and divine understanding. And that starts manifesting. Now imagine in your mind's eye everybody hugging each other and become loving and kind, and family members just being overjoyed with finding and discovering new ways that they can help each other. And the more you help each other, the more joy it brings and the more you want to help. And that it's a mutually beneficial, reciprocated experience for everyone. Now that really is love in action. When you give, but then it's given back. So fill everything up with light and love. And let's take a deep breath and release it. Let's create another bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, let's place all the children on the planet. And we're going to call to Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all the ties, which is creating anything out of balance in them, in their life, anything that's keeping them from being able to develop their gifts. And we're going to ask the Creator to actually give all the children their divine missions and their divine purposes. And let them magnetize to them everybody that they need that will help them, whether it's the teachers that they're going to need for the knowledge, for their mission. Let them magnetize that energy. And that they're joyful teachers of light. We're going to ask Michael to cut the ties that's keeping children from liking each other and helping each other and being kind and compassionate. And for those children that don't have parents, we're going to ask the angels to bring to them what they need, good, kind, loving parents. Whether it's a mom or a dad or a couple that's hetero or a gay couple, as long as those people are loving, kind, compassionate to their children. Let it be easy for them to adopt if that's what they want to do. So those children have homes. And we're going to make sure in this bubble of light, all those child soldiers that are out there. And we're going to ask the angels to go find them and help them get away from that situation and guide them toward the villages that will help them and become their family and teach them how to be loving and kind and to come back into society. So let's fill this bubble with all our kids. And for those kids out there, let's cut the ties to all the military, any thoughts of going into the military, and let them be divinely inspired of other things to do, something that will bring them joy, something divinely constructive. And for those kids that are just sitting on their rears because they don't have any motivation, let's call divine peace, divine calm, divine kindness, divine motivation, divine right action to descend down around them now. And in each kid again, imagine this love coming out of their hearts and reconnecting to everyone in their family. And we're going to ask the angels also to help them create a functional family. One full of love and compassion and kindness and joy and laughter. All right, let's fill this bubble up with light and love. And let's take a deep breath and release it. So I'm going to work you tonight. So again, feel that divine energy flow down and put it in the center of our circle. And in this bubble of light, I want to put in all those indigenous people. They're standing up for the planet. And you know, you can be in a white body and have an indigenous soul. So those people that are standing for the planet, you may see all kinds of colors out there. And the skin color doesn't matter. It's what their soul is about. And we're going to put in all the activists for the earth and humanity. We're going to put them in this bubble of light and see them all recharge and regenerate. Let them be filled with all kinds of new positive thoughts and possibilities on how they can win. And I want to put the Hawaiians and all those beautiful indigenous souls up there on top of the mountain in Hawaii, the Big Island, and standing up for Mount Mauna Kea, which, by the way, is the tallest mountain on the planet. And the reptilians and the government wants to put a 18-story telescope up there. And that telescope is going to take 10,000 gallons of wastewater a day. And I mean, this is an island, folks. Where are they going to get that kind of water? Oh, from us. And the real purpose, it's for military use. So we want all those Hawaiians up there to stand firm. And hey, guys, if you want a reason to come to Hawaii, you are welcome to come out and stand with us. So see everyone being regenerated, filling up with new possibilities, and sent everything they need to be successful. See them becoming magnets now and drawing money to them, people to work with, attorneys, whatever they need, and see them successful. All right, take a deep breath and let's release it. So let's do one more quick bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, I want to put in all your missions, all your hopes, your dreams. And I'm going to ask that they be given positive forward movement. That the Ganesha, remover of obstacles, removes all the obstacles in your way that's keeping you from being successful in your jobs and completing your divine missions and living your life in joy. And let's put the angels in this bubble of light, the archangels, our guardian angels, the master teachers, the gods and goddesses, air, earth, fire, and water. And let them all regenerate and see everyone working in harmony to take this planet into the golden age of divine enlightenment, to quantum leap us there. So fill that up with light and love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. So we are going to end this service circle, and I'm going to ask you in joining me and do 3 ohms. And trust me, if we were all together, that big crystal in the center would have us all harmonize. So let's do 3 ohms. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. So we release the crystal, all the deities that came and visited. And I want everyone now to ground. Put your feet flat on the floor and feel the earth energy now come up through your feet. And with every breath, I want you to feel very grounded, feel your energies pull in, feel yourself becoming back in body. Very, very centered, very focused. If you're still lightheaded after the program, and if you have the stone called hematite, which is very, very grounding, or lodestone, which is also grounding, go get it. Hematite jewelry, go get it. You need to hold it until you're not lightheaded. Or you can go outside and go put your hands on a tree and imagine yourself sending all your excess energy into the tree, and then ask the tree to send you energy back, and you'll ground. It's very important that you do ground after the show. The more people that tune in, the stronger the energy is and the more effective we are on the planet. And the higher you're going to get, okay? Ooh, you can come with me and get stoned. But after the show, you got to come down. You can get stoned again, but it's on me. I'm putting you in this very high altered state. So you need to ground. You need to be back in body. So you can also eat. That will help you come back down. Go take a nice relaxing bath. But you do need to be grounded. So if you like the work that we do on Tuesday nights in my show, the service work and the energy balancing, invite other people to join. That is the snowball effect. The more people that listen and add their energies to what we're doing, wow, the more effective we're going to be, and the quicker we are going to manifest quantum leaping the world into enlightenment. And to me, that's exciting because I'm so tired of seeing all this crap go on. And okay, I'm going to give everyone their radiation level for the week. Are you ready? It's high. Okay, I'm done. If you want more information on me, and if you actually missed my last show, I did a show on working with rock stones and minerals, and I also was giving you some examples on how to work with weather. So that is up on YouTube, and you can go and check that out. And all my shows should be starting to come up on YouTube. You can check my website out at www.angelightom.com. That's ANGELITEOM.com, where I have all my incredible healing products on there. Or you can also go on Facebook. I'm there. I've got all my prayers in my notes. And I also do, I don't stop just after Tuesday to do light work. To me, that's an everyday thing because there's always something to put your attention on. And again, you might find that I've got something on Facebook. You might go, wow, I really need to do this. And, you're putting your energies now into creative use for the earth. You're doing service work of the highest. The more people that are doing work like this, again, we're going to snowball into quantum leaping the world into enlightenment. So, also on my website, the curse removal I have there that you can download for free. And, you can do it every day. I consider that part of the maintenance program. And you can do it for your family and your friends and, people that you love and keep them clear and their paths clear. I also have a couple books on my website. One you can get free. And it's called one's called The Book of Spiritual Basics, and in that book, I actually have a lot of my power prayers, so you really don't have to feel helpless. And you don't like what's going on with the earth, you can change it. It's group work. It's amazing what one mind can do. And it makes a difference. You make a difference on the planet. So invite those people to listen every Tuesday so we can do greater light work. Now, next week is going to be a really fun show. I'm going to have Chad Meek on, who wrote a book, and his uncle had a lot to do with Roswell and, extraterrestrials and a lot of famous people. And he's also an astrologer, so he should be really fascinating to listen to. I hope that those of you that have been paying attention to the show has actually tried some of the things that I've shared with you, that you've gone to your local rock shop, you've checked out some of the stones, you've tried to develop your sensitivity with using a crystal. How many of you tried that? I mean, that's a no-brainer. You don't need to think with your mind to develop your sensitivity. How many of you actually practice putting love into action and surrounding your family or anybody who's angry in that energy of love and actually watched how they transformed or they left the room? And either way, it's really, really cool, right? You win. Because if they're going to stay in the room, you want them nice. And if they're not going to be nice, being out of the room is awesome. And you can still send them love. But, people have free will. And if they can't handle that energy and that vibration, well, they're going to leave. Or sometimes that's when you clash. So how many people have anchored light in your house and the violet flame to transmute any energy? Have you noticed a change in your house? Have you noticed a change in how people act? How many of you created sacred space for protection, which we also didn't quite get to today? How many of you pissed in a bottle, spray bottle, and went around your boundaries of your house creating sacred space, saying, nobody dark or negative or not of light can enter this property. This is sacred space. Because actually, you can laugh, but it does keep reptilians off your property because they will short out. They don't like the smell of human pee, okay? How many people have taken a pot or an old pan and put salt in that, rubbing alcohol in it, and lit it in the middle of your room to clear out the energies of your house? What happened? Did you notice a change in everybody's attitude? Did you feel better? This is practical application of easy things you can do to make your life easier. There's so many different energies out there that we've got to contend with, and our children, our whole families do. So really, pay attention. We're also being sent all kinds of frequencies to mess with us. And if your family is usually very happy and all of a sudden they're cranky and mean and irritable and fighting, you may be sent feeling frequencies that are trying to get you to be unfunctional. So be conscious. And if that happens, go, I ain't going there. Have a talk with everybody. Bring it to their attention. Shift that energy. Because if you don't shift that energy and you keep in that negative space, you're feeding darkness. You're feeding the dark side. You're feeding George Bush. Oh, my God. You're feeding war. And I know you don't want to do that. So shift it. Ask that everyone's reconnected to the Creator, to become conscious, awakened spiritual beings. Just by doing that helps. Work with that love energy. Love is more powerful than hate. Come on, practical application. And again, if you want reminders, go to my website at angellightome.com. If you want some personal work, you can call me at my store, 808-775-9400 in Honoka'a, Hawaii. And the name of my store is called Cathy's Angelite Crystals, Miracles, and Joy. I do work over the phone. There's many ways you can contact me. My work is usually for free or by donation. I don't put a price on my spiritual gifts. And if you really want to support me, buy something from my rock shop. And on that high note, I hope you have a wonderful week and it's filled with love and joy, and you manifest your heart's desires. Aloha.